Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. This is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and with me as always is the mistress of Mandalore herself, Miss Lisa Locke McGahee.
The mistress of Mandalore, eh?
Right, I can't, we're on the spot.
Oh,
see
okay,
how nice, see how good I am? I'm light on my feet. Quick thinking. It's what you get.
All right.
Okay, guys. So, for those of you who are listening for the first time, I'm going to run down some news that happened lately in the world of DC and Marvel. Move on to some Star Wars, Harry Potter if there is any, and then we go on to miscellaneous stuff. You guys fire back on the Facebook group, Twitter. Let us know what you think. Also, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. And we'll get a little discussion going on here. Now, just to let you guys know, this is going to be a heavy trailer-centered show because there was a crap load of trailers that came out. But first, we got a few little DC and Star Wars things going on. So, Lisa, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
All right. So, we have no Marvel news, technically, as of right now. But this first story does kind of involve both Marvel and DC. So, it's kind of all wrapped up into one. So, according to comicbook.com, writer, screenwriter, and producer Aaron Sorkin is in talks with both Marvel and Warner Brothers to possibly write a superhero film for them. Speaking with comicbook.com, Sorkin said, quote, "I happen to have meetings coming up with both DC and Marvel. I have to go into these meetings and tell them as respectfully as I can that I've never read a comic book. It's not that I don't like them, it's just that I've never been exposed to one. So I'm hoping that somewhere in their library is a comic book character that I'm going to love, and I'm going to want to go back and start reading from the first issue." Now, also, it said that it's unclear whether DC or Marvel are interested in him writing either for a film or for a possible television series. Sorkin, of course, has experience in both, writing hit shows such as The West Wing and The Newsroom, as well as critically acclaimed movies as A Few Good Men,
The American President,
Steve Jobs, and The Social Network. Yes, The American President.
That's my favorite
as
one.
well. Okay, all right, fair enough. So, a guy of this stature of, say, Aaron Sorkin, who's mostly known for, I'd say, political, commentary and stuff like that, possibly going to step into the superhero pool and play with all the other kids. I'd say it's a good thing just because, you and I are both Aaron Sorkin fans. We love almost everything that he does. Mm-hmm. I think it'd definitely be an interesting take depending on what character he decides to go with. He's known for what they call the walk and talk kind of writing, where, it's a lot of quick, quippy dialogue.
It's a lot of people walking and talking.
Yeah, of course, that too. Which is not that far off from, say, what Joss Whedon does on films like The Avengers. He's known for, talking and the quips and all that stuff as well. So it's not that far off, but I think it's a matter of what character, he decides to go with, and really what character Marvel and DC decide to pitch him that'll fit his style and something that he can definitely turn good. I think at this point, we all know that DC probably needs him a little more than Marvel does. Marvel isn't really hurting too much with their stories, but Warner Brothers could definitely use their help over with the DC characters. Any characters off the top of your head that you might want to see Aaron Sorkin write for, perhaps?
No, I don't really have an opinion on that because, like him, I'm not really a big comic book reader. Which I have to say does not surprise me at all that he is not a comic book reader.
Well, yeah. Doesn't surprise me either.
Largely because of his love for words.
Whoa, you went there.
I did.
That's
the first thing I thought of, though. I was like, this is a guy who is words. Like, he is all about words. So, it's like me, that's why I can't get into comic books. There's not enough words. I'm not a visual learner. I need the words. The pictures don't do it for me. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like art. I do. But, I think he is along those lines, too. I think that's why he probably... I bet he's a very avid reader of novels. I'm just saying. This is just a guess, but I'm just saying. It doesn't surprise me at all that he does not read comic books. I'm sorry.
What?
Like a fly. I just heard a real loud fly buzz by.
Lose your train of thought there.
But anyway, I mean, I agree that I think Warner Brothers needs him more than Marvel does. But I don't know. I mean, I would think off the top of my head, it doesn't strike me as a good fit for him. I mean, he tends to do very serious, like you said, kind of like a political a political twist. So I don't know that I could see him doing a comic book movie off the top of my head, but it never would have crossed my mind to choose Kenneth Branagh to do a comic book movie, and I thought he nailed Thor. Like, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, I mean, who am I to say that he can't... Maybe he really wants to do this. Maybe he's been thinking, I'd love to get into this, you know.
I'm sure they're offering him some cha-ching as well.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. So, like I said, off the top of my head, I don't see it. It doesn't seem like a good fit to me. But that's not to say I wouldn't happily be disproved.
I mean, because he's a good writer, you know?
because he's a great writer.
So whatever he's going to, whatever he does, he's going to sink his teeth into and produce, I think, something really good.
Yeah.
But, of course, you think it wouldn't be something that he would normally do, but at the same time, the Marvel films, have their own subgenre of each of them as well. Ant-Man was a heist film, and Winter Soldier was a spy film. So, you can't have those subgenres within the superhero genre itself. So, he could write, like a political thriller, kind of similar to what Captain America was.
Yeah.
In that instance.
The only thing is, if I had to pick which one I think he'd fit better with, I think it would be Marvel. Just because of how his shows and his movies are, they are a lot of fast-paced talking, and it's a lot of movement. Everything happens quickly. Where Marvel is more like that already. DC, it seems like everything happens at turtle pace.
It's true.
Everyone talks real slow and real quiet and real monotone. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the DC, what we've seen so far from DC, doesn't seem. Like, I feel like if he were to step in and write a DC movie, it would be so different.
I want to see him do the Batman's dialogue.
I mean, he couldn't...
Where are the drugs going?
He couldn't possibly talk that fast. He is so... You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see him doing something with, writing dialogue for Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Or Tom Holland, something real, quick and quippy.
Yeah, I just don't see it for DC, even though I think they need him more.
Either way, okay. All right, so moving on to the official DC news. Variety is reporting that Joss Whedon himself is in talks to write, direct, and produce a Batgirl standalone film for Warner Brothers that will take place in the DC cinematic universe. Now, Batgirl first appeared back in 1967 as Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Commissioner Gordon, and Batgirl has since then went on to be several people, including the fan favorite Cassandra Cain. Then Entertainment Weekly has confirmed that their interpretation of this character is going to be the new 52 version of the character. When the series rebooted, Barbara Gordon's continuity regained the use of her legs after suffering a spinal injury at the hands of the Joker. Although fully recovered thanks to some experimental surgery, Batgirl is still haunted by the whole experience. This would be the second female-driven film in the DC Cinematic Universe. The first going to be Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, which comes out this summer. Now, Joss Whedon is no stranger to the comic book genre or even the fantasy genre. He directed such films as Avengers Age of Ultron, and Serenity. And, of course, he is responsible for creating such television series as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the spin-off Angel, Firefly, and Dollhouse. So, first I heard about this, it's like, he's jumping sides, I guess, a little, where, he was the main guy for Marvel for a while, and now he's jumping over DC, which is totally fine. I think after Avengers Age of Ultron, you could see his fatigue with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so him going on to do something new, that's fine, of course. A great director is a great director, but I think this fits him so well because it's Batgirl, because it's a young girl, which, hello, Buffy, he plays in that wheelhouse so well. He knows how to write strong female characters, not only with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but also he did his run on Astonishing X-Men, where his main character in that run was Kitty Pryde, and, just made a strong female lead and did a great job of it. So, giving us a Batgirl film, I'd be totally down for it. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know enough about Batgirl, but I know that Warner Brothers would be glad to have him, and it would be good for them.
Again, they need him more.
They need him, yeah. I think if they're going to make him a good enough offer, maybe he got to choose the character he wanted to do, I mean, they need a good movie, and I think, and we've talked about this before, I think story is their biggest fault right now. So if they can get someone who's like Joss Whedon, who has such a strong track record of writing good stuff, do it.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how much control they're going to give him as well, because I know some of his frustration when Avengers: Age of Ultron is they were so deep into the cinematic universe, and Kevin Feige has specific things that he could or couldn't do. I felt like Whedon was a little frustrated with it, and dealing with these cinematic universes where everything is supposed to come together, that you probably feel a little handcuffed in that sense, to where there's things he wants to do but can't. But then again, if he's, thinking about it, maybe they're willing to give him a little more free reign than most people suspect. I don't know, but you gotta really give it to Warner Brothers now, because let's see, they're talking to Warren Sorkin, talking to Joss Whedon.
They're desperate.
They're looking at Mel Gibson for Suicide Squad 2, which I don't think will happen really. And then of course they just got Matt Reeves. They're looking at talent is what it is, and that's what they need. They need to go after the talent. Which is something, I think they've been lacking not from their acting perspective, because I think, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, great acting, you're fine there. It's behind the camera that needs to work, as far as the directing and the writing and stuff like that. So going after Joss Whedon, of course, being a big Whedon fan myself, I will support anything he does. Anything he does.
Who's he gonna kill?
Huh? Oh, man. That's weird. That's a good question. I don't think he's going to kill anybody in a Batgirl movie.
What? He kills somebody in everything.
Unless he kills Commissioner Gordon. Could be. You never know. Never know. Of course, there was now, ever since there was an announcement like the Batgirl or whatever, people are like having all these fan art or whatever, and they're putting, what's her name? Emma Stone on a lot of them. But we'll have to wait to see about that one. But yeah, Whedon, great, awesome. Moving on from there. Boom. Alright, well that's it as far as DC New, guys. Now we're going to step over to the land of Star Wars. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Rogue One Blu-ray came out today, so if you haven't picked up your copy, go do so now. I myself went to Best Buy, where I thought I could find the Best Buy on the Blu-ray.
You're so clever.
I know, right? I told you. Fast thinker here. Fast thinker. One thing, of course, I am disappointed as well. It's got some special features on it, but it's missing deleted scenes and no director commentary, which are two things I always look forward to when buying a DVD or Blu-ray. So I'm a little disappointed in that.
It'll be released in a few months.
It will be, and I'll have to buy the damn thing over again.
Basically.
That's just how it goes, but that's all right. I'll just sell my copy to Josh, like I do most of my other things, and then that'll even it all out. But in any event, go pick up Rogue One, because that came out. Now, the couple of Star Wars stories we're going to talk about. Okay, we'll go through. There's a really big one that came out thanks to Making Star Wars. I'm going to go through these, and then you and I, Lisa, are going to talk about our predictions for Star Wars Celebration, because this is going to be our last podcast until Celebration. We start our vacation on Saturday. We'll be in Orlando all week, so we'll probably want to do one next week.
Well, we'll be doing, the plan is to do probably some Facebook Live.
Do some Facebook Lives from Celebration. I'm just saying next Tuesday we won't do a show.
Right, because we'll be at Disney World.
Exactly. So now after this, we're gonna talk some Celebration predictions, what we might see and stuff like that, after I run through these stories. Okay, so first off, Disney CEO Bob Iger is talking about the Han Solo spin-off film and kind of a few things we can expect to see in the film. He said, quote, "We're actually shooting now an original story of Han Solo, origin story of Han Solo, which comes out in 2018, that picks up with Han Solo when he was 18 years old and takes him through when he was 24. There are a few significant things that happen in Han Solo's life, like acquiring a certain vehicle and meeting a certain Wookiee, that will happen in this film. But years in the life of Han, but you will also discover how he got his name." Now, this kind of hints that possibly Han Solo isn't Han's actual real name. But of course, within the clues we saw that we're gonna see in this film how he meets Chewbacca, how he gets the Millennium Falcon from Lando. Alden Ehrenreich, who plays Han Solo in this film, he's 27 himself, so it's not sure if the film is really going to go through from 18 to 24, or if that's the age range for the possible trilogy that he's signed on, because I guess he's signed on for 3 films. Not sure how that's going to work. In the Star Wars canon, Han Solo was 29 years old when he met Luke Skywalker and hooked up with the Rebellion. So if they go through this whole process, it looks like he's going to go right up until that point to where he meets Luke and Obi-Wan in the bar. We'll just have to wait and see. Han Solo, the film, is set to come out May 25th, 2018, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Mellon. So the big takeaway I'm getting from this story is Han Solo isn't really named Han Solo. Now, I know there are those people who are like, who something comes out in the canon and they're like, well, that doesn't fit or that's not right. And, the directors and storytellers have to tell people, well, we're still expanding the Star Wars universe, always expanding on it. So just because you don't know something doesn't mean it's not what it is or it doesn't exist or something like that. So for me with this, Han Solo's name not being Han Solo, I feel like is kind of a smack in the face to his loved ones.
The story doesn't necessarily mean that his name's not Han Solo. Saying how he gets his name, that could be they do a flashback to what his parents decide, how they chose his name. That could be...
That'd be lame.
I'm just saying, it could be that. It could totally be that there was something that happened right when he was born that was very relevant, and that is how his parents chose his name. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean his name is not Han Solo, Mr. Jump to Conclusions.
Okay, parents picking a name? I mean, come on.
There could have been something super relevant that happened at the time.
How interesting would that be?
Well, I guess we'll find out if it was a super important thing.
The more interesting story would, of course, be if his name wasn't Han Solo, and of course he later on gets the name by somebody else or by his actions or just whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't like that idea because throughout the entire Star Wars saga, the people he's cared most about, like Han and Luke and Lando, they all call him Han. So do they not know his real name? And if that's the case,
maybe he legally changed his name, and then who gives a shit what his name used to be?
Legally changed his name? What is this?
Who's to say that they don't know what his real name is?
But they still call him Han?
If it's his name now. If you change your name to something...
Oh, I'm changing mine to Emilio.
You can. Anyone can. You could literally change your name to anything you want at any point in time. You just have to go... There's a process through the government, a form or something. It literally is not hard to change your name. I want
to see him go through that process in this movie.
So this was...
He goes to Coruscant and stands in a long line so he can change his name to Han Solo.
I'm just saying, if he has changed his name and for any way... to Han Solo, who's to say his loved ones don't know that his name was at one point something else? And why would they call him something that isn't his name anymore?
His name was Winston.
Whatever. Even if his name was Winston, his name is now Han Solo, and so that's what he would tell his... It's like if you had a kid, a transgender kid, who changes their name when they change their gender, would you continue to call them something else?
Probably not.
Exactly. So why would you...
So you're saying he was a woman.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, I feel like, I mean, what would you think if you know me all these years and you found out my real name wasn't Sean McGahee?
Your real name is Sean McGahee.
It was Skip McGee.
If I found out that you had been named... Okay, let me just tell you from an example of how ridiculous some of the people that, in my business, that some of the parents name their kids such insane names. If I were some of those kids, as soon as I was old enough, I would change my name to something normal. I mean, I'm not going to say any specifics because... Yeah, I'm not allowed. But good lordy, I have heard some whoppers of names. And I would hope that those children at some point would change their name and never tell anyone what their name used to be.
So Han's original name was Eugene. There you go.
Anyway, that's my point.
I just feel like it's, I mean, like I said, if you went through all these years of knowing me, married me, and, found out that I had been lying to you about my name this whole time.
It wouldn't be lying. It wouldn't be lying to me.
Whatever.
If your name is something else.
You would be so pissed off if you knew my name was something else and hadn't told you all these years.
And like I said, who's to say they don't know? You are also jumping to more conclusions. Like what you said yourself. Just because Star Wars doesn't say something happened doesn't mean it didn't. You literally just said that.
I did say that.
So maybe they do know that his name was something else.
All right, well then show it to me. Show it to me.
So we'll find out.
Show it to me, and I'll put it aside. So, but as of right now, there it is.
You're being super judgy.
Okay. Anyway, that's what we do on this show. We judge. We speculate. That's what it's all about.
Okay, whatever.
All right. So big piece, big Star Wars piece right here. Hold on to your hats, kids, and we'll try to get through this now. Bob Iger, of course, talking about the Han Solo film, but also talking about future Star Wars films. So according to him, Disney and Lucasfilm are in the process of developing at least 12 or more Star Wars movies that will be rolled out between now and 2030. Now this kind of goes with what we heard earlier, where they're looking to make a Star Wars movie once every year. in that respect. Now, there is a source, according to Making Star Wars, this is the same source that said that in The Last Jedi, we're going to get 3 familiar planets in the film, which are Endor, Tatooine, and Mustafar. That same source talked to Making Star Wars and said that that Disney and Lucasfilm are already thinking about or developing 3 new Star Wars spin-off films that are being in the making. So as of right now, there's nothing definitely on the plate for Lucasfilm or Star Wars films after 2019, which is Star Wars Episode 9. Now, this source says that they've already been thinking about what they're going to do, and the first of these projects is an Obi-Wan spin-off film. Quote, Kathleen Kennedy and the rest of Lucasfilm fully intend to make an Obi-Wan movie set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, with Ewan McGregor in tow. I want to emphasize that it's a movie, singular, not a trilogy. Also, Rogue One's Gareth Edwards could be returning the director's chair in a Star Wars movie, as Kathleen Kennedy was happy with his work on Rogue One. The team of producers and writers are going to be different than Rogue One. An announcement recently of an Obi-Wan movie might be just one of the big surprises we see at Celebration Orlando. Then the second spin-off film they're talking about is the reports that centers around Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunters. Now, originally, we were supposed to get Boba Fett's spin-off film in 2018, directed by Josh Trank. But after all the reports of his bad behavior on the Fantastic Four set, they dropped that film and instead put in the Han Solo spin-off film in that as well. But, quote, rest assured the Boba Fett movie is not dead. As far as I can tell, the movie will be most likely be an origin story. It's not strictly a Boba Fett film, but a film about an ensemble of bounty hunters on an adventure. The project is basically going to use the same pitch that it would if Trank had directed it. And then finally, the third spin-off film they're talking about is supposed to be targeted towards young adult audience that has a slight romantic theme to it. It's said that the story is a tragedy. The love story angle is more in common with Han and Leia's romance in Empire Strikes Back than anything else. Now, this is all speculation from this source that Making Star Wars talked to. I don't think they named the source even. As of right now, Lucasfilm and Disney has not confirmed any of this. But it's also said that after this next trilogy wraps up, after Episode 9, that Lucasfilm might actually take a break from Star Wars films for a little while and focus more on their TV, which kind of contradicts what Bob Iger stated a week ago or last week or whenever that was. They said they don't want to oversaturate the market pretty much on Star Wars. They want to keep that hunger for Star Wars movies alive. But also they said the main reason for that is that studio will reportedly be focusing more on Star Wars TV projects, citing that Star Wars Rebels creator Dave Filoni was recently promoted to oversee all of Lucasfilm's new animated shows, and the source is also claiming that there are plenty of more shows coming down the pipeline. Quote, Star Wars on television is going to become a big focus over the next few years. The new series might be more in tune with the existing story arcs of the Star Wars saga instead of filling in the gaps like the Clone Wars and Rebels have. A lot of stuff is going into storage more than the original trilogy at its peak. So, again, nothing's been confirmed by Disney or Lucasfilm. This is just a source that Making Star Wars considers to be a reliable source about what Disney and Lucasfilm might have coming down the pipeline for Star Wars. So, let's break this down a little bit here because there's a lot of information. Basically, start off with Bob Iger. Do you think we're going to get 12 more Star Wars movies in the next, 12 years?
I hope so.
Hope so. But do you feel like maybe it could be oversaturating the theaters?
I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough. Quite.
I mean, do you really think Star Wars fans are going to get tired of them?
Oh, I don't.
As long as they keep doing them well.
It depends because casual movie fans, I don't think so. But say you or I, we're in the Star Wars mix. We read the books, we watch the TV shows, we go see all the movies, we watch the movies multiple times a year. I can see at some point maybe them making too much content altogether for fans like us possibly. And again, it depends on the quality of it too. I mean, if there's stuff that comes out after they bit so much out and it's not great. I mean, because there have been some books that come out,
Yeah,
you know,
that we haven't loved.
that haven't loved. So I feel like if they, you know, can make the more content you make, the more likely it is that it's going to be stuff that might not be phenomenal. But I could just see at some point maybe them doing too much.
But if you think about it, even if they made a few things that weren't great, they'd probably still be pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you think, so sure, people like us, like die-hard Star Wars fans, we're going to go see all the things.
Yes.
So even if, like, film viewage from the casual fan dropped off, they're still going to make a killing. It's not like they're going to take a loss. You know what I mean? Like, just because, I mean, look at how much money they make every time a movie comes out right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how much profit they make. They could, if half the people went to see it, or people went to see it half as many times, they'd still make money, and a lot of it.
It's like they said, I was like, after, you know, just after the first film, The Force Awakens, Disney had already made its money back for what it paid for Lucasfilm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, sure, you can always oversaturate stuff. And I mean, sure, it might not be a bad idea to, like, say once they do the trilogy films, and then do 3 standalones in the same window, and then say take a break for a couple of years from the theaters, and then do it again.
Yeah.
I think that would be reasonable. I mean, sure, taking a small break would be fine. I would hate it. Star Wars fans would be, you know, because we like to have more.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with this, you know.
Yeah.
So we keep talking about, like, maybe they should do like an Old Republic show or something, you know. There's so much that you could do in there with Star Wars. I don't see how it's possible to get oversaturated. And I mean, and this is like, for me, like, same thing if I talk about like Harry Potter or something. If J.K. Rowling wrote a book a year, I'd love it. I'd never get tired of it. I feel like the same way about this. Like,
Even if the books weren't as good as, say, the originals?
so, I mean, we still are watching these, and the prequels weren't as good as the originals.
True. I think I would like to see possibly, after this trilogy is finished up with episode 9, taking a break from the episodic films and do again more of the spin-off films like Rogue One, or not Han Solo, but, you know, something outside the universe, outside of the main storyline. I think I'd rather see a couple of those, and then a couple years later, then start the new, you know, episodic trilogies, perhaps, in that instance. So, going back to that, well, let's go to it. Let's go, speaking of that, the television stuff. So, Dave Filoni, of course, like I said, has taken over kind of Lucasfilm animated television, which I said
Great decision.
when he stepped away, like, kind of let the reins go just a little bit from Rebels, I was like, it's because he's going to be working on something else, because he's prepping for something else. And, you know, it's one of those things where I think at Celebration we're going to get an announcement of a new animated series that Dave Filoni is going to be helming. This
is why we have to get in line early to get tickets to his panel.
Okay. So do you believe, though, that means it's going to be the last season of Rebels?
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think regardless, I think this is going to be the last season of Rebels.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting too close to.
Yeah, they're almost like a year away from when Rogue One and New Hope start.
Yeah, I think that it's reasonable for this to be the last season of Rebels.
So do you think you're going to get more than maybe one thing? Like, people have been, you know, talking for a while, of course, about a possible Netflix series as well, on top of an animated series. And, you know, this source claims that they're going to focus a lot more on the television. Do you think we could possibly get maybe like 2 or 3 Star Wars series going at a time?
Yeah, I mean, sure, if they have enough. I mean, I think they'd have to be like totally different.
I think so.
Different time periods, different everything.
Yeah, I think again, like you have, like, you know, like I said, do like a Netflix live action that's more adult. Do, like, you know, another a Rebel style, like, you know, tween age.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want it to be like they're doing right now with like the Arrowverse, where it's like all these different shows, but they all overlap. Like, I would want it to be like totally separate.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. All right, so then let's get into these possible spin-off films. I'm going to start with the last one, the young adults.
It sounds like Lost Stars.
Well, that's what people have been saying. They think it might be actually like Lost Stars.
I think that a film version of Lost Stars would be awesome.
And I find it interesting because, say it is Lost Stars, that's going to be the first time you actually get a Star Wars book that is
made into a movie. As opposed to vice versa. See, but think of how that would work. If they did that and they got the young audience into seeing that movie, think about what that could do retroactively for book sales.
Yeah.
That could get youth
But-
reading Star Wars novels.
Well, also too, because that takes place in the original trilogy, a lot of kids or whatever, they're not down with the original trilogy as much because it looks older and stuff like that. But if they can get them on this, then they'll go back and watch the original trilogy and maybe get them on that set of movies.
I think if they literally did Lost Stars in a film, I think it'd be so win-win on them for so many levels.
Fair enough. All right, the second one, the Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunters movie.
Meh.
So if it was just a Boba Fett movie, I would have no interest. But Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunters.
Other bounty hunters in the shows have been interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole thing. I just don't understand everyone's fascination with Boba Fett.
I don't either.
Because his character has had almost no development in the theatrical universe.
They tried to do it in the Clone Wars, but
even in Clone Wars, it was Boba as a kid, and he was annoying. I mean, he was worse than baby Anakin. Like, God, little Boba was so annoying. But, like, the other bounty hunters were good. Like, talking about, like, Cad Bane and...
Oh, yeah.
And, who was that? There was, like, a girl one.
Oh, the one with the ponytail?
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, but there was several bounty hunters that were really interesting in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But Boba Fett was not one of them.
Well, I mean, like, I remember a year or so ago, StarWars.com did their top 10 bounty hunters. And guess what? Boba Fett was number 2. Cad Bane was number 1.
Cad Bane is awesome. I'd love to see a Cad Bane movie.
I'd love to see. I want to see him live action.
Way more than a Boba Fett.
He's currently in the new Darth Maul comic they have going out right now, too. Again, I'd love to see him in a live action Star Wars. That would be awesome.
I mean, why in the world is Boba Fett... I mean, seriously, I'm asking anybody who's listening that is a Star Wars fan, please explain to me the fascination with Boba Fett, because I don't get it.
Well, a lot of people are saying, too, they kind of ruined the character a little bit because of the prequels and knowing that he's a clone and ruins the mystery and made him more lame, I guess is what it is. But I always thought he was lame.
Well, ruins the mystery. If you're asking for a Boba Fett standalone, the whole point of that is to find out about him.
Same thing with the Han Solo movie. I'm not... Yeah, I'll go see the Han Solo movie, but I'm not super excited about it because, honestly, I don't want to see his past. I don't care about his past.
Why?
Hey, Han Solo is a fun character to watch, but I don't care. He's a supporting character in my eyes, okay? The main character is Luke, okay? And it's like when you try to give that... the supporting character their own movie, it's like Minions, okay? They were great supporting characters in those Despicable Me movies. They came out with their own movie, and people didn't like it.
Yeah, but that's different.
You take that supporting character who's only supposed to, help and be funny, he's got enough story arc in the original trilogy, and you don't need him to be front and center, I think.
I don't know. I disagree with that in some ways because, for instance, Ahsoka.
Okay.
Ahsoka is a supporting character.
So you would want to see an entire Ahsoka movie?
Yeah, I loved the Ahsoka book. Okay. I thought it was great to find out some more about what she was doing on her own and how she was becoming a lead character without needing to support other people.
I say yes and no on that because I have more affection for the character of Ahsoka than I do Han Solo, actually. Because it ties into more, like, again, what I like about Star Wars, what most interests me is the Jedi Sith mythology, so Ahsoka falls in that territory, whereas...
I agree. I do think that more of the standalone movies, if they're going to do more, I feel like a lot of this is moving away from the Jedi, and as much as I know the Star Wars universe is not only about the Jedi is the most interesting part. So that's why I want to see some, like, Old Republic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
See, like, the Jedi, the history of the Jedi and the Sith.
I would love to see them, again, take a break from the episodes, and give me an Old Republic trilogy. I mean, so last night I showed you those commercials for the Old Republic video game. How cool did those look? I mean, imagine seeing that,
I would love it.
Style.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
I think that's what they need to do. They need to do some, like, maybe making a trilogy that's Old Republic.
Yeah, I want to see an army of Sith versus an army of Jedi. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, the standalones that are not about the Jedi. I mean, I liked Rogue One, even though there wasn't Jedi in Rogue One. But I know the Han Solo one and Boba Fett. I mean, I'm not as excited about those.
Well,
I'm with you on that.
Honestly, the thing about Rogue One I love the most, I think what everyone loved the most, Darth Vader.
Darth Vader
again,
ass. Yeah.
Tying back to the Jedi, exactly. So
yeah, I mean, I get that they want to explore more than the Jedi and the Sith, but that's the best part.
It's a big galaxy. I totally get it. There's more, like, they're talking about getting away from the Skywalkers even, which is fine. I would say I would not be a big fan of that, but I can see them doing that and me being okay with it, as long as, again, they kept the Jedi, because that's, again, like, what's her name in Force Awakens says, Maz, is that her name? She says, the only battle that matters between the Jedi and the Sith, between the dark side and the light. That's the true battle in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind, too, seeing some more, maybe some spin-off films about some of the other Jedi that you get to know in bits and pieces in the Clone Wars, like Plo Koon and some of them. Just getting some of their backstory, I think, would be really interesting in a film.
Yeah, and you get some of that, of course, through various like comics and books and stuff like that. But yeah, seeing it on the big screen would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the big one here. The Obi-Wan spin-off movie. Speculated on this for a while now. I think we're getting into celebration. We're getting an announcement. I think it's going to be a big thing, whether it be the 40th anniversary or the closing ceremonies.
You think that
Ewan
McGregor's going to walk on the screen? I think it'll probably be at the closing. They're not going to do that at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it. I think it overshadow everything else that they did at the beginning. So I can see closing ceremonies just, boom, comes on out. Because they got Hayden Christensen coming now. Okay, which I'm surprised. We were talking.
What the hell else is he doing?
Well, yeah, that too. And it is the 40th anniversary, and he is such a big part too of the Star Wars saga, playing Anakin Skywalker. It's just a lot of people still have. I mean, they're not like I said before. They're showing the original trilogy, Rogue One, Star Wars Rebels episodes throughout the convention, but they're not showing any of the prequels. Because there was this mentality that they're trying to make people forget about the prequels because they're not as highly regarded as other parts of Star Wars franchise. So to bring Hayden Christensen, who is the representation of the prequels, in it, it seems a little odd, but I don't mind it. I could go on and say, yeah, Hayden Christensen, it wasn't the best performance, but I don't blame him for it.
I thought his performance was fine. I thought he portrayed Anakin the way Anakin is, a whiny bitch,
like a Skywalker is.
Exactly,
like a Skywalker is.
Exactly. I thought he was a great casting choice. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It softens the blow. If you watch it from episode 1 to 6, his whining softens the blow for episode 4 when you meet Luke.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the worst acting in the prequels was Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I thought her acting was the worst.
I think so. I think it was. And there's many reports that said, by episode 3, she had a lot of issues with George Lucas. Which is, kind of why her role was diminished, too, in episode 3. And it's like people say, it's like, with the prequels, just to go off on a little bit of a rant here, guys, I don't blame the actors, okay? Because you have Natalie Portman, Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson, all fine, top-notch talent there, okay? And they're, a lot of their performances are not great.
Yeah, but if that's what the director was wanting.
And that's actually, and if you read, how Star Wars conquered the universe, the actors, Hayden Christensen, one time he's standing there and George is like, do whatever you want, doesn't matter, It's like he realized, no directing, George Lucas became a product of his own story. So like my theory on this is original Star Wars trilogy, it was the underdog, okay? George Lucas trying to get this movie made. No one believes he can do it, and it becomes something that, he didn't even think it was going to become. Whereas coming into the prequel trilogy, he's so powerful, he's top dog, and, his own arrogance destroys the movie trilogy. And I always have this comparison in my mind that it's literally the main characters of both sagas, where you have Luke, the underdog, who becomes more powerful than you can imagine, Anakin, who thinks he's so powerful, it destroys him.
True.
Great analogy, right?
That is a good analogy.
All right, cool.
I will give you that. Which one? Am I going to pat you on the back?
Yes, I do. That felt good. Can I have something else later?
Just keep going.
Okay. All right, so then, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Fans have been clamoring for this. I think we're getting at a celebration. So let's go some speculation here. Obviously, I think we all know we're getting a Last Jedi trailer. Of course, they're doing a Last Jedi panel. Why would they not show us a trailer for it as well? We're going to get a Rebels Season 4 trailer. Now, I know in the recent years they've showed us the first couple episodes of Rebels. Do you think we're going to get the first couple episodes of Season 4?
I don't know. That would be cool, though.
That would be cool.
You know how I am with speculating.
I know. This is a speculation part, okay? Just humor me for a couple minutes, okay? Humor me. So, I think...
I will let you speculate.
Okay, fine. That's great. I do that all day, every day. What do you think I'm doing actually at work?
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
So, Rebels, definitely. We could get a couple... I would think... I want to say yes. We're going to get like an episode or two. but I'm not going to hold my breath. We're definitely getting some kind of the teaser.
I mean, the
trailer.
panel is only an hour and a half. I'd hope that they wouldn't waste a whole, 45 minutes of it.
Well, I can
just
see it
showing
doing
this
one episode.
maybe one.
Show one episode
But
and then
the
talk.
premieres are usually double episodes, like same thing
Yeah,
as the
true.
finales. I mean, I'd hate for if the panel's only an hour and a half to waste half of that time.
Yeah, I agree.
know.
And they'll probably talk. They'll be talking to Dave Filoni and the cast and stuff like that more. So I agree. I think we might see. We're definitely getting a trailer though. Okay. So as far as movies, do you think we're going to see anything from the Han Solo movie?
No.
No, you don't think we're going to get any clips or anything like that?
I don't think so.
I think we might.
Okay.
I think we might. I mean, they've been shooting for a couple months now, or a month or so now. There's even a whole panel about Han Solo's life and stuff like that. I think we could possibly get something, especially since we're not getting Celebration next year. I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
you get D23 at Comic Con, which they obviously could show stuff there. But for Star Wars fans, we come here for hoping to get a glimpse of everything that is Star Wars. So I think to show us just a little bit, like even a scene or two, or even behind the scenes production would be cool. Kind of how they did with Rogue One, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could see something, and definitely. I'm more excited, of course, too, what they're going to show in books and in comic books as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of panels at the convention about with authors. Like there's that Del Rey panel. That's gonna
The Marvel Comics panel.
There's the Marvel Comics panel. There's a couple other panels with different, like Timothy Zahn has a panel, and Christy Golden has a panel.
Yeah.
So there's several panels that are related to story groups.
And that'll be interesting because, of course, a couple days before Celebration, the Thrawn book comes out, written by Timothy Zahn. So people, I'm sure,
it's not going to be enough time for me to read it.
I know, right? Well, listen to it. You mean
right?
So, but I'm sure there will be people there who have already breezed through it. So I'm sure he's going to get a lot of questions about that book in that panel. But
because if it comes out on Tuesday, we're going to be at Disney on Tuesday. I have to read it on Wednesday.
Listen to it. You mean?
Listen to it. Fine. That's not enough time.
But no, when is the Zahn? Zahn's not till Saturday?
No, I think it's the first day.
Is it? Okay.
First or the second.
Fair enough. All right. Sounds fair. All right. So that's going to be it as far as Star Wars news. Of course,
We're not
as
really
we
doing all
talking
these
about, we're not doing all the
stories,
stories.
Okay.
Calm down.
I'm like, good lord, it's like two whole pages here still.
Anyway, can I finish this here?
Yes,
can I finish?
sorry.
Okay. So that's it for Star Wars news. Of course, guys, like I said, we're going to be at Star Wars Celebration. We're going to try to do some Facebook Live videos. I'm already thinking about walking out of that Last Jedi, panel and just doing like my reaction for the trailer just right off the bat.
You think they're going to take our phones away and stuff?
I don't think they'll take the phones away, but they're definitely going to be like, I think they're usually hardcore security about it. So like we're going to have to wait till after we get out of the panel to like do a quick video.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
But yeah, so we're going to try to do some videos for that, and we'll try to keep you updated on all the awesomeness that is Star Wars as well. So, all right, so moving on to miscellaneous news now. Lisa was seeing all this
Oh my God.
on the page, and she was a little worried. But we're not doing all this. We're just going to talk about the 4 trailers, and then we'll be done for the day. Okay. All the rest of this, though, because there is so much more to it, and we're not getting doing a podcast next week, I'm going to go through on Thursday and run down the rest of this real quick. So
Are you off on Thursday?
Thursday, I close. So I don't go until 1 o'clock. So Thursday morning, I'll come do a short little podcast finishing off the rest of these stories we're not going through today. And then that can count as the podcast for next week. So good? All right, guys. So like I said, we do have a lot of trailers to go through. 4 good ones came out within the last week. So let's start it off with Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. This one's going to be directed by Luc Besson, who directed films such as Lucy and The Fifth Element, and is based off the 1967 French comic book series Valerian and Laureline. Now, in this trailer, we're introduced to Valerian and Laureline, played by Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne. That's it, Delevingne.
I think it's Luc Besson. It's French. His
Okay.
name is French. Luc Besson.
Luc Besson.
Not Benson.
Benson.
It's Besson.
Benson. Well, this is America, okay? We speak American.
Luc Besson.
American. Anyway, so in this new trailer, guys, we see Valerian and Laureline as agents of the government of the human territories enlisted with maintaining order throughout the universe. After a successful mission, they head to Alpha, a city of 1,000 planets where every species shares its richness with one another. Now an unknown force wants to destroy all that they have created. Valerian and Laureline have less than 10 hours to find the threat and eliminate it. The film opens on July 21st and also stars Clive Owen, Rihanna, Ethan Hawke, John Goodman, Herbie Hancock, and Christy Wu. I'm going to start off by saying I am sold on this film.
I like this trailer.
The scope of it looks so big. The art or the effects look so beautiful. Honestly, I want to see this in IMAX. It looks, despite what the story may be, it looks like it's going to be so beautifully shot and just looks incredible. Seated on a big IMAX screen, I think would be really cool. But also, I think it's going to be fun. From what I saw, just the interaction between the two characters, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if this movie's going to be for everyone, though. But for people like you and me who do like the fantasy and sci-fi genre, I think it's going to be a grand old time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like this trailer. This is the first trailer that I've seen for this that made me want to see it. I loved The Fifth Element. It's one of my favorite films. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think if it's anything like that, then sure. I mean, I definitely think the scale of this looks pretty... it looked like they kind of... I don't know. I hope they didn't go over the top. That they didn't spend so much time and money making it look beautiful that the story suffers as a result.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm definitely willing to give it a try. It looks good from this trailer. Mm-hmm. But then again...
trailers are meant to make a movie look good.
Yes, exactly. So... we shall see.
We shall see. All right. One thing I liked about this too is in so many years, one thing of the reasons I like Star Trek, okay? It's actually a hopeful future. Mm-hmm. We have so many movies and so many television
dystopian
shows
futures are
where
like
it's dystopian, it's the end thing, And I'm just I'm so sick of it. But things like Star Trek or this, where it's people or aliens or the universe actually come together for the benefit of everyone else, And I'm good. It's so refreshing to see that hope. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to. And of course, you have someone trying to sabotage it all, which that's how it goes when you have these type of environments and these type of movies. So, but just seeing the future from a hopeful perspective, I think will be a good thing too. So, all right, moving on. 20th Century Fox has released a new trailer for War of the Planet of the Apes. It's the third chapter in this franchise, and in this one, we see Caesar-headed apes forced into a deadly conflict with an army of humans led by the ruthless Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson. After the apes suffer unimaginable losses, Caesar wrestles with his darker instincts and begins his own mythic quest to avenge his kind. As the journey finally brings him face to face, Caesar and Colonel are pitted against each other in an epic battle that will determine the fate of both their species and the future of the planet. The film stars Andy Serkis, Woody Harrelson, Steve Zahn, and Karen Konoval. Comes out July 14th, right after my birthday there. So with this one, I know, Lisa, you haven't seen the other two. I plan on rewatching the other two before I see this one, in which case I've already got it from the library and they're sitting in our home here. So maybe if you want, you could check it out with me. Don't have to. Whatever.
I'll pass.
Okay.
I mean, these to me, it's just... I'm not saying the trailer didn't look good. It did look good. I mean, I am continually amazed by how they have made the apes for these films.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's great,
I mean, it's amazing. They look real.
Yeah. And so it's scary. The first movie, I remember, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they looked so real, the way they did their faces. It was scary.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. So, and I know that the first two were very well. And this trailer looked really good. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, for me, these are war movies. And I have a hard time. I don't love war movies. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot for me to watch a movie that's about war. I don't like Braveheart, which everybody loves. I saw it. I'm not into stuff like that. I have a hard time even watching historical war films. Movies, about... when we went and saw, what was Hacksaw Ridge, and those. I appreciate war movies that are based on real events, and I will make myself watch those. And I do generally like them all right, but it's just really hard for me to watch war films. Because I go into it knowing that people that I like, characters I like, are going to die. And I do not like when that happens.
You don't like drama.
I
don't like drama. No. You don't like drama. Okay?
That's not true.
You don't like dramas.
I don't like death. I do like dramas. I don't like death. I don't like when people that I like die.
You don't like sadness.
Yeah, there you go. I don't like sadness. I don't like going into a film knowing that a character that I like, that I have grown accustomed to, is going to die tragically. Mm-hmm. And in war films, lots of characters that you like are killed Needlessly.
But that's the whole point of like these characters
I don't like
going
it.
on this journey, and sometimes it's tragic.
I don't like that part.
I mean, you're the kind of you still haven't finished Angel season 3.
I refuse to watch it. I will not watch Angel behave so horribly.
You just smothered Wesley with a pillow.
I can't do it. I can't watch it. I just can't. I mean, like movies where kids and dogs die, like pass. I'm out. I'm not even gonna. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Real life is depressing enough. I don't need it in a film.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so for me, again, I'm not a big fan of the original Planet of the Apes franchise, but of course I've seen it long ago. I was so surprised how well I liked that first film with James Franco, and then when they elevated it to that next level in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I mean, after that one, I am pumped for this one. It's such a great story. They've done such a good job of telling the story of Caesar, an ape. It's not about the humans. It's about Caesar's journey. And in this one, you can totally see it where Caesar was so innocent in the first film, and now he's so serious because he is the leader of the apes. They look to him for guidance and to lead them. And it's that burden that he has. Again, this is a CGI ape. And in that first film and the second film, I cared so much about him. That's why it's such great storytelling. They do such a great job, and it's all about his journey. And one thing I love is he is a good, I want to say person, but a good ape, where he is, he wants to have peace with the humans. You can see that. I mean, he was raised by a human, James Franco's character in the first one. In the second one, he was aided by a human family as well. He wants to. He knows the good of humanity, and he doesn't want war. But all the other apes, all the humans, they're backing him into this corner. And like it says in the description of this film, he's at that point now where he's got to fight back. He wants peace, but nobody else does. So it's either he, fights back or lets his people die.
See, that's the other thing about these movies that make me not want to watch them is these movies are all about blind hatred and ignorance. And we get enough of that shit in real life.
But it's a good metaphor for it too. It's like,
yeah, but we get it in real life. Like that's the thing. It makes me so mad. It's like going back to Harry Potter, Order of the Phoenix. I have a hard time when I read that book because I hate Umbridge so much. You know what I mean? Like, when you see people that are just characters, even if they're not real, they represent real things. It's like I've said a million times about the Harry Potter. Voldemort is not the ultimate villain in that story. Umbridge is. Because she is literally just an evil human being, but you know people like
she's
that.
She's teaching ignorance.
You know people like that.
Yep.
Like, Voldemort, you're never going to come across Voldemort in real life. But you come across Umbridges all the time. All the time. And that's what this is. These people, the humans that are leading this charge against the apes, it's blind ignorance and hatred. And that's what I have a hard time watching that because it makes me so mad.
Yeah. Because again, we get enough of that in real life.
We get enough of that in real life. Exactly.
But I like it's a metaphor because of that. So it's a way to deal with it. And especially, say younger kids who watch, Harry Potter or Star Wars and see these characters and, so then when they grow up, they recognize it, in real life. They recognize, oh, I've seen this type of person before, when I was a kid. And, hopefully it turns out better. But in any event, Matt Reeves is back in the directing chair for this one before moving on to do The Batman. Allegedly. So it's his second one. He did the last one, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which again I loved. This one looks really good. So because of the fact that he's doing these two films, gives me hope for The Batman. So
Allegedly.
All right, guys. Moving on to the next one. We have a new trailer for Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Guy Ritchie, the guy who directed films such as Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, what else did he do? Was it The Man from U.N.C.L.E.? All those films. He's got that really unique style to go with it. And in this trailer, we saw a lot of quick shots, a lot of zoom in, zoom out, a lot of the styles that you would come to expect from a Guy Ritchie film.
Weird slow-mo.
Kind of, yes. Now, this, of course, is going to be a take on the classic Excalibur or Arthurian legend, tracing Arthur's journey from the streets to the throne. In the story, the child Arthur is seeing his father, murdered right before his eyes by Vortigern, which is his uncle, and then his uncle then seizes the crown. Robbed of his birthright and has no idea who he truly is, Arthur comes up in the hard way on the back alleys of the city. But once he pulls the sword from the stone, his life is turned upside down and he is forced to acknowledge his true legacy, whether he likes it or not. The film comes out on May 12th and also stars Astrid Frisbee.
Is that really her name?
Frisbee. Bay. It looks like it does. You just add the E in there.
See, it's another French name.
Okay. The one guy from The Gladiator and Amistad, who I can never pronounce his name.
I think it's Jamon is his first name.
Jamona. Anyway, Aidan Gillen, Jude Law, and Eric Bana. So again, film comes out May 12th. There are two classic stories that I will see anything because I love them so much. One is the Peter Pan myth. The other is the King Arthur myth. I'm a big sucker for both those old mythologies. So any movie,
even though you're disappointed almost every time.
Not almost every time, but sometimes, yeah. So again, I like Gary. I like Snatch. I like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He did the Sherlock Holmes films. So I like Guy Ritchie's films. But how it's going to mix with the classic medieval Arthurian legend, that's kind of my worry about it.
I mean, that was what I said after you showed me the trailer yesterday. The trailer, like, it didn't look Arthurian to me. It had this crazy, like, song from the 70s playing over the backdrop of it. It's just like, it just didn't fit. The style, I just don't know that Guy Ritchie's style fits with Arthur.
But maybe that's what it needs, too, because the last, couple of renditions of the King Arthur myth, or the medieval myth, haven't really done that well. Mm-hmm. Maybe bringing a guy like Guy Ritchie into it and, kind of bringing it up to that level, maybe it's what it needs to get people more interested.
I just really hope that this whole weird, like, 70s music trend over trailers doesn't transition into the film. Because I'm pretty sure every single one of these trailers we're talking about today, except maybe the ape one, had, like, a 70s song kind of redone and tempo changed a little bit.
The Mummy did, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really hope in this case it doesn't transition into the film.
I don't think it will.
And that was just for the trailer, even though it was a bad move.
I think, you've got songs that are with trailers that have been going on for a while now. But after, first off, you have Guardians of the Galaxy with that, soundtrack, what people love. And then, of course, you had the Logan trailer with the Johnny Cash song, which people, again, love. It's like everything else in Hollywood. If people say they love it, let's do it until people are sick of it. And that's what we're seeing with trailers.
Hollywood, we're sick of it.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I doubt you're gonna go see this.
I'll wait.
So I will let you know how it goes. Okay.
I'll wait for a video for this one.
You're not even gonna see.
I didn't think it looked horrible. I have seen other of the Arthur. I don't hate the Arthur films that have been done in the past. Yeah. I saw the one with Keira Knightley. It was all right.
I like that one, yeah.
And there was something. I think there was one before that.
It was the Sean Connery one.
Oh, right.
The First Night.
The one with
Richard Gere.
Right.
What's her name?
Yeah, she was real popular. Julia Ormond. She was real popular that time.
Yeah, that was right in her.
Like the peak. Yeah. I mean, and I didn't hate that. So I mean, I don't hate them. They're not exactly my cup of tea, but I didn't think this one looked bad. Mm-hmm. I like Jude Law a lot. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So last story for the day and the last trailer we're going to cover. Looks like Universal has released another action-packed trailer for Tom Cruise's The Mummy. Now, this film is set to kick off their monster cinematic universe that they're going to be doing along with Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, and all those other guys to go along with it. We also get a glimpse of Russell Crowe's Dr. Jekyll, who is expected to provide the connective tissue to the other films and kind of bridging the gap into the cinematic universe. The film was directed by Alec Kurtzman, who's mainly known for being a writer and producer, but has directed a couple things, such as the film People Like Us and a couple episodes of the show Alias. So in this film, Cruise stars Nick Morton, who leads a team of explorers that uncovers the tomb of ancient Princess Amat, I think that's how you say her name, played by Sofia Boutella, whose destiny was unjustly taken from her. Awakened in the present day, this brings her a rage that has grown for over millennia, and she wants to use that to terror and defy humans and blah, 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 apocalypse, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, pass.
Okay. The first trailer of this film, I had no interest in. This one actually gave me some interest. But I did notice a couple things in this film because the last Mummy franchise with Brendan Fraser. I like those first two films. The third film I didn't like, but the first two films I like those ones. And I was kind of comparing it because there's one point in here where Tom Cruise, he goes down in the pit and then he like shoots something and is like, he's like he gives out that tough guy vibe. Which when he did that, I'm like, well, that reminds me of something Rick would do or Brendan Fraser's character would do in the original Mummy. So then I was looking at it too, and the character Brendan Fraser played was Rick, and this is Nick. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's a little too close for comfort. And the Mummy is Ahmet, and the one in the original, the previous one is Imhotep. The similarities in names are just making it funny for me, is what it is. But like I said, this one was very action oriented, and I gotta say, I kind of liked it.
No, I did not.
I want to give you one more trailer, and then I'll judge if I actually want to go see it or not.
I mean, for me...
Plus, I'm very curious, too, about, again, this sets up their cinematic universe, so I want to see how to start it.
I mean, for me, it's like, immediately, it's got to strike, because it's Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe, so, XX.
2 strikes. What's a third strike?
Well...
You can't give it a third strike yet, see? You can't...
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty much ready to stake 100% that I'm not interested in seeing this film, and I will not like it.
I think like I said, first trailer didn't get me. This one it got me. They showed more of the story of Sophia Boutella's character. So again, give me a little more what I'm in store for in this, and I'm curious as to is with Tom Cruise's character, because it looks like he's going to be a part of the Mummy, like where he's died and he comes back. There was that one shot where he was like surrounded by rats and just things like that, where I'm curious what's going on with his storyline and what that involves. So in any event, it got me, so I'll give it one more trailer to see if I actually want to spend money on it. And that's it, guys. So like I said, I'm going to do a couple more things on Thursday, finish off stories that we didn't go through. I'm going to try to get Lourdes in here to do a recording so we can talk about some recent Doctor Who news. I'm going to talk about the Preacher teaser and, of course, comments by Paramount in regards to the Terminator franchise. That's all going to be on Thursday, so keep an eye out for that. And that'll be it for us, because we're not going to do a show next week, like I said, because we will be in Orlando, Florida, going to Disney World, going to Star Wars Celebration. Keep an eye out for that, because you can be sure we're going to post a lot of crap from Celebration. I'm going to be geeking out. I might wet my pants a couple times. I'm going to bring a couple pairs of shorts just in case.
I get to meet Sam Witwer.
Exactly. Lisa gets to meet Sam Witwer. I've already met him. Me and him are BFFs. So, we go way back. Cool. Way back to San Antonio Comic-Con.
My turn. I thought that was in Chicago.
No, it was the San Antonio one.
Are you sure?
It was. I guarantee it.
I thought it was when you were in Chicago.
It was San Antonio. I drove down, and it was like it's a smaller Comic-Con. And that's why I was able to go up and meet him so quickly. He's a very nice guy.
I thought we still lived in Chicago when that happened.
No, and then I went to go to Brett Spiner, who played Data in Star Trek Next Generation, and he's an asshole. So, Sammy, I go to Sam Witwer, and he was so nice and so cool, and then I go to Brett Spiner, and he's like, "Get away!" Nice. Wouldn't even shake my hand. Asshole. All right, so I think that's going to be it for us, guys. Let us know what you think. What do you think about the Star Wars news and all these possible spin-off films? Let us know what you think of all the new trailers that came out. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let us know. dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Hit us up on the Facebook group or, of course, on Twitter. You can find me personally on Instagram and Twitter, SlimDayspring12. And that's going to be it for us, guys. So until next time, may the Force be with us all.